the country. There's gold in them hills and I'm gonna find it.
Well, welcome to Gold Fever Adventures. My name's Jack Tucker. Sure glad you guys stopped by, check out the channel. If you're one of my subscribers, thank you guys for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, sure hope you consider subscribing. Go ahead and just reach down there right now and hit that subscribe button. Anyway, today, what we're going to do today is I'm going to do some melting of stuff. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to be using this kiln and I'm going to melt some copper, and I'm going to pour it in a cool mold that I got. A skull, I think it's about 4 ounces, so that's going to be a lot of copper. I can't melt that gold. That'd be way too much gold to be melting. 4 ounces of gold to pour into a mold, but that'd be kind of cool to have that much gold in a mold, but no, I'm going to do some copper. And then I think what I'm going to do, maybe if it turns out, I'm probably going to give it away, and I'll tell you towards the end of the show how I'll give it away, but we'll see if it turns out. But you know, in the beginning of these shows, we play some music. There's Gold in Them Dar Hills. That's the song that's played there. That's by a friend of mine, Scott Meadows, and he got these CDs right here. So what I'm going to do today also is I'm going to give away one of these CDs. There's some cool songs on here. Some gold songs and then some other type of songs, but he's wrote a few songs and it's on this CD right here. Like Gotta Get Wet to Find Gold and Gold in Them Dar Hills. That's one we play right there. And My Dredging Hole and Country Kind of Man. There's a few other songs on there, but I'm going to give that away and I'll tell you how I'll do that there at the end of the video also. But you got to be one of my subscribers to win anything that I give away. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Anyway, so I want to thank you guys coming along, sharing all these adventures. And like I say, I'm going to melt some copper today. So let me show you what I'm going to do. There's a kiln I'm going to be using. It's propane. It's a big one. Big boy. And I have all of this extra wire, this copper wire. So what I've did is I went ahead and I've cut it down into little pieces. And then a lot of it I've already stripped out. And then what I'll do is just put these in this crucible right there. You probably could just burn this whole thing in here. But, you know, with this plastic on there, I really don't want to be smelling that plastic. Sometimes that stuff can be toxic. And so I'll just leave that alone. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is put all of this in there. Actually, I probably don't even need to bend them up, huh? I'll just throw all them in there like that there. Like I said, I've already stripped these down. Put them in there. I'll probably do a few more. I'll strip down. But I'm just taking off this outer coating on here. This plastic stuff. I don't need that on there. Just like so. Just like so. Yeah. Put all that in there. Now let me show you this cool mold. There's a cool mold. A skull. About 4 ounces. That's going to be, if that turns out, that's going to be pretty cool looking. I got another one. I will strip this down. I'll go ahead and put that in there too. Look at that. The sun is now just coming up over the horizon there. It's going to be another hot day for us here in Arizona. Anyways, this is a graphite mold. Let me get out of the sun there. This is a graphite mold. So I really don't have to do nothing to that. This mold here, this is cast iron. If I were to use this mold, I'd probably want to put some type of a chalk in there, just, you know, powder inside to help it release. But with graphite, you pretty well don't have to do that. So, now I can tell you, I have tons of pennies. I have hundreds and hundreds of these pennies. So I thought about melting down some pennies, but then I thought, why would I want to destroy a good penny for when I just melt some copper wire that I got? Plus, pennies ain't really all copper anyways. You know, from I think it was 1982 forward, the pennies are mostly zinc. They're about 97% zinc and only about like 2%, 2.5% copper. So if you melt pennies, you want to throw in a couple pennies prior to 1982. 82 is kind of the mixture of year of them, so put in prior to 1981. And they had about a 95% zinc, so they had more copper in them. So if you're melting the pennies, you put some of those years in there, and it gives it more of a copper shine to it. Yes, I've melted pennies down before. That was in some other video that I did a while back. No, and it's not illegal to melt down money and stuff. You can destroy money if you want to. What makes it illegal is if you profit off the destroying. If you destroy it and you profit and you deface it for fraud, that's when it becomes illegal. That's my understanding anyway. So, anyways, melting points. Did you know? We know that gold, we love gold. I'd love to pour some gold. Gold melts at about 1950, 1948, something like that. Copper melts at 1984. Copper melts higher than gold, or a higher melting point of copper than gold. Now, zinc, if these are pennies, zinc is like about 780 or something like that. So zinc melts pretty quick, if I was melting down these zinc pennies. But I'm going to be melting down copper. So that kiln's got to be up to 1984. 1984. That's a good year, right? Not my year, but that's got to be a good year for somebody. So anyways, 1984, I got to get that kiln up. And that kiln will get way over 2,000, so I have no problems in melting them down, that copper down. Now I got me some borax here, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of borax into this too. Borax just helps it melt, takes out some of the impurities in there. You can just get borax in the grocery store, Mule Team borax. It's basically the same stuff. So you can just use that. You probably really don't have to use anything, but I'm going to add in a little bit of borax into the mix. Now, if I was doing gold, I'd probably put in some other stuff, but since I'm just doing copper, I'm just going to add a little bit of borax in there. Okay, so I got that in there. I got my wire stuck in there. That got a little bit wet, borax did, so it's kind of little chunks. Okay. Now, what I got to do, I'm going to set this in the kiln. I'm just going to set that right there in the middle, right there. You have other kilns, like you've got these smaller type of kilns like these here that run on these little propane torches. They would melt the pennies. I think I've used one of these to melt pennies in the past. But these are just smaller little kilns. They work. When you're doing this stuff too, you should take proper precautions. You should be wearing gloves. I do have a pair of gloves someplace. I'll see if I can find them. But you should be wearing gloves because that stuff can get hot and it can hurt. So first I got to practice is what I'm going to do. I'll show you that. What I mean by practice is I got to figure out how, when I'm done with this here, I'm going to pick this up to pour it. So, because these are going to hug this here. So I got to try to figure that out. I don't want to be trying to figure that out during it. So I'll screw with this here. Oops. It's hard to hold the camera in that at the same time. I got to figure out if I grab that there and pour that. If that slipped out of there and splashed, that could burn. So I got to play with this for a moment. Okay, that'll work. So now let me get the lid on here and start a fire. just go ahead and start the fire first. Well, that's cooking now, starting to cook. So we'll let that go for, I don't know, we'll check it. Once them top wires get melted down, I'll know it's done. I'll let that go for probably, I don't know, I'll check it 20 minutes from now. It might take 45 minutes to cook that down. That I'm not quite sure of, but we'll see how long that takes actually. But we'll just let that go and I'll come back and check it later. Yeah, let's check on that, see how that's doing. It's been about 15 minutes. Oh, look at the top of the wire. See, they're starting to get hot. They're glowing. They're going to be melting soon. Okay. It's only been 15 minutes, so I'll check on it again in maybe another 15 minutes. Well, I'll let that sit in that mold for a moment and cool down. There might even be enough left in that crucible to pour another one. I might have to start the furnace back up for a few moments though, but I'll let that cool down and see if I can get a second pour out of that. Well, while we were waiting for that to melt down a little bit, let me go show you the clubhouse here on the property. Well, I am at Gold Fever Adventures Campground, and this is the clubhouse. It's a wall of shame. It's a wall of shame. Some of you might recognize your pictures from up there. I'll give you better of a tour of this place in the weeks to come. Well, it's been another 15 minutes. They're still not in there melted yet, are they? They're getting there though. I will check on it again another 15 minutes, I guess. Well, red hot. Looks like they're starting to melt a little bit, but they haven't melted down. I probably should have cut those in little smaller pieces. That probably would have helped too. But it looks like they're starting to do. It's been just another 15 minutes, so I'll check on it again in another 15 minutes. The roadrunner there was checking out the copper. He wanted my copper. I could tell that roadrunner, he wanted my copper. I came out here, check on this, and there he was right there, sniffing around. He's probably trying to stay warm. You know, they're not hot enough at a 100-degree temperature. Okay, we'll check it again here. Oh yeah, see, they're melting down. It's melting. Zoom in there. You can see they're melting. We'll have to let that go probably another 15 minutes. All right, look, that's pretty well starting to melt now. Melting. I'll give it another 15 minutes. Check on it again. Well, let's check it now. It's been an hour and a half, actually. Oh yeah, it's melted. It's nice and melted. I think it's about ready to pour. Well, I'll let that sit in that mold for a moment and cool down. There might even be enough left in that crucible to pour another one. I might have to start the furnace back up for a few moments though, but I'll let that cool down and see if I can get a second pour out of that. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, this cracked when it came out. The mold, it's like glass, but that all cracked up. It's heavy, but it cracked. So I'm going to do another one. I'm going to add a bunch of pennies in there. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll just add a handful of pennies in there. See if that does any difference. That's uneven, damn it. Turned out pretty cool. Let me show you this mold right. Oh shit! God damn, that's hot. Frick, god dang, god dang, god dang, god dang, that fucker's hot. God dang. Ow. 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 Oh yeah, this one turned out a lot better. A lot better. Looks a lot better. Lot better. Whew, man, that was quite interesting, wasn't it? I think that first pour I did, I didn't pour it all out, and that's why I said there's still some left in there. I just poured till the mold filled up, but that was all the glass. That was the flux and, you know, the garbage shit. So I didn't pour the copper into it, and that's why that just broke apart. So the second one I poured turned out kind of weird. Let me show you. Well, I got them all sitting right here. Oh. So the second one that I did turned out, I mean, it turned out okay. I had too much in there, so it overfilled the mold. But this was more the copper wires. Of all that copper wires that I melted, and you can see it's kind of got a weird texture to it and color, I guess. But that was that. So that turned out pretty good. Then I poured the next one, which was more pennies in some of that copper, and this one turned out pretty good. That turned out pretty good. Then I really cooked the hell out of it. I let that stuff boil. And for some reason, it didn't have enough. So I think maybe what happened is maybe all the copper melted away. I don't know. And all it left was the zinc. But, you know, that same crucible may have been used once when I was doing silver, because this almost looks like it's got silver in it, so I don't know. But then I did it again, and I got this one here. This one turned out pretty good, too. It's mostly zinc. You can see some of the copper in there. But I think once it gets to boiling, I don't know what copper boils at and if it'll actually dissipate or what, you know. But so anyways, that was pretty fun. So I did say that I was going to give one of them away. So I will give one of those away. I will do that a week from this show. This show will air Sunday. So today's Sunday. So next week it will end, and I will pick the winner. So 2 prizes, a CD and one of those skulls. Yeah, a skull. Oh, you want to win a prize? So anyways, so to win, here's the rules. You got to live in the U.S. I don't want to ship nothing foreign, you know, where it's going to cost me hundreds of dollars to ship it someplace. So you do got to live in the U.S. Sorry about that, but that's just the way that's got to be. And you got to be one of my subscribers. That's a give me. You got to be one of my subscribers, and you got to like and share this video and leave a comment in this thread right here. So the next week, I will choose 2 winners randomly. And like I said, then I'll send you out a CD and one of these skulls there, melted skulls. That's if you want it. If you don't want it, don't worry about it then. It doesn't matter. So, yeah, so leave me a comment, like and share the video, and then look again next week in this thread where I will post the winners. So anyways, that was pretty fun. I never really melted. I did some pennies a long time ago in one of them smaller kilns, but I never did it in one of these larger ones like this here. So, and then I got this new mold, that skull mold, so that was kind of cool to check that out. But anyways, that was kind of fun. So hey, I want to thank you guys coming along and sharing on all these adventures. And that it took about an hour and a half, if you're asking that, how long that was sat in that mold. It was almost an hour and a half, or in the furnace there cooking, about an hour and a half. Anyways, want to thank you guys coming along, sharing on these adventures. Get out in the gold field, get your guys a little bit of that yellow gold. And until our paths cross again, you guys all be safe, take care of yourself, and thanks for watching.
Like living and loving, paying the bills, keeping things real, man, you know the deal. But when it's time for me to unwind, I gotta go someplace where the sun can shine. And there ain't no better place than out in the country. There's gold